In this video, I'm going to show you how I take my home office from this to this. First, let's do a little tour. Okay, when you walk in, I want to point out there's a wall back here. We've got my favorite couch, some stuff over here. I have 2 lights on the side, and then my desk is facing the window because I really like being able to have some natural light. And what that will give you, if you can see myself in the camera right now, it will give you this kind of a look, right? Looks fine. It's fine for meetings. I also have a panel light up there, which I can turn on during meetings. Let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to turn that on real quick. And now you can see, like, I look a little better, right? It's a little dark in here. It depends on the time of day. In the afternoon, the sun comes directly in those windows and it gets really, really bright. So what I want to show you next is how I'm going to transform this look into more of a studio look. So this is kind of a natural light look, but let me show you how I'm going to convert it to a studio setup. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close those curtains. I want to block out all natural light, which might sound kind of crazy, but when you're setting up your studio, I'm going to try and balance this. All right. When you're setting up your studio, it's actually better to have all artificial light because you have more control over it. Sunlight can be a little tough, right? Because it'll look great and then 2 seconds later a cloud will come and you're not able to control your light anymore. So having your desk set up this way in front of the window can be a little bit of a pain because now I have to kind of get behind my desk to close my curtains, but I'm okay with that. All right, so now we have only the fake light in the room. So if you look now at me, it's fairly similar because I've got my overhead light on. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn off these side lights. So I'm gonna turn these off. And you're gonna be amazed at the difference. So we'll turn this one off. And now just look at the difference in this room from the first time I walked in. It's pretty significant. Now there is a little bleed happening down here. Okay, so here's what it looks like when I have all of the lights off, all of the natural light out, and the only thing I have is this light up above me. Here, I'll show you so you're not looking at the screen, you're actually looking from here. So this looks pretty good, right? It's much more, the background's a little less, it's much, it's a little bit more poppy, right? It doesn't look like you're just sort of standing in your normal office. But here's where the magic is really going to happen. All right, remember on your shopping list, and you'll be able to see it below. Remember on the shopping list, I had these little lights that are actually like outdoor lights. I'm going to show you what I do with those. So let's come over here, and I have one actually sitting right back here. I can leave it back there behind my chair. Or what I like to do, I actually have my door with soundproofing, which might be a good idea if you've got noisy people outside. I'll actually take this light, and I really like it kind of right there. So I stick it right by the door, and then when I turn this on, I've got it on like this kind of pinky color. You can see on the remote that you can change it to all different kinds of color temperatures, like whatever you want. I really like this kind of pink color. It really fits in with my brand. And let me show you now. Look at what this office looks like now. It's like full studio lighting. And really, all I did was turn off all the lights, block out the natural light, add a light that's right there in front of my face and a light that's behind me. So I want to just show you one other thing when it comes to positioning this light that's over your head. You'll notice that it's at about a 45-degree angle up above me. So you want it kind of, if you've got monitors, up over your monitors. Another way to think of it is if you draw a line like right here, directly out of your eye, 45 degrees angle up, that's where the light should be. You don't want it right here in front of you. You want it over to the side a little bit. And here's why. If you look at my face, see how there's just a tiny bit of shadow on this side of my nose? It's just a nice way to give a little bit more of a dramatic lighting. You can see even if I move more, if it's straight in front of me, I get really flat. So you want it to be at a 45-degree angle above you. You also want it at a 45-degree angle tilted down towards you instead of flat. Here's why. If you put it flat this way, all the light goes that way, and you're not actually going to be illuminating your face because now the light is here. You want to tilt it down at about a 45-degree angle. So now the light is coming right onto your face in this really, really nice way. So you can see that with my light. I actually have an older light that I needed to put a filter on, but I'll show you what that looks like. So it's angled at a 45-degree angle down, and it's angled to about a 45-degree angle up towards, down towards my face. Now that you have all the lighting in your studio set up, let's talk a little bit about the microphones as well as the camera. So let's do the microphone first. So here is, again, my setup on my desk. No comments from the peanut gallery about how messy my desk is. All right, so this is my Blue Yeti. I have it connected to this, and it connects down here. I like this best. There are other ones that kind of come up, like they go up like this and then down if you want it like that. You can put it, depending on just how your desk is set up, you may want to just play around with it. I want to spend a minute talking about the Yeti Blue and exactly how to make sure it's set correctly. So you want to have this logo facing you, facing your mouth. You also want to make sure that when, I will move this over here. When I move it over, I want to make sure that I don't accidentally hit this mute button. If it's flashing, then it's not going to work. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that that's on. This volume button is if you decide to plug in headphones in here and you want to be able to listen to yourself that way. You can do that with this. I don't do that, so I don't need it. Let me show you on the other side. Here are two different pieces of the microphone that I want to teach you. You want to have there's 4 different settings for your microphone. For you, if you're speaking alone, you want it to be on the one that looks like a heart. And then the gain, this is how much of your voice it's going to be picking up. So if you are a soft talker, you may need to turn the gain up. If you are a loud talker like me, you might need to keep the gain down. And you'll be able to see this in Riverside when you're looking at that little green bar as you're talking. If it's way, way down to the left, or if it's way, way up to the right, you may need to be turning this up or down accordingly. So it's a little bit about the Yeti Blue. So you want to, as I have it set up kind of just like this when I'm in a podcast and I'm just talking directly into here, kind of right past there. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is the camera. I actually have 2 cameras up here because I have my old one still sitting here. I'm going to move it. So this is the Insta360. It should be green. It is not green right now because a second ago, I hit it and it fell off and it's a little cranky at me. So if I unplugged it and plugged it back in, I'm sure it would be green, but in the meantime, it's fine. It's red. But this is the Insta360. It's great. The cool thing is that you can also open, there is a Insta360 app. It's called the InstaLink Controller. Be sure to download that on your desktop. And that's actually what you're watching me through right now. And I like it because you can do a couple different things. And I will show you what those are. So over here, let me show you. You can move the camera to the right, to the left. You can move it down. You can move it up. And I'm doing all of that over here on the right-hand side. So if it's not quite set, I find that if you actually try to like use your fingers to change it, it doesn't work very well. It's designed to be smarter than that and to track you. So just something to think about. All right, down here, there's all different types of cool things. There's an AI tracking, there's a whiteboard mode, there's an overhead mode, there's a desk view. So if you hit desk view, let's say you're writing something in a journal, you can use that. One thing that I just want you to be aware of, down here, it has an enable auto tracking. You probably want to turn that off. And here's why, is it can go back and forth and move with you. If you're a talker and you like to move around a lot, the camera's going to be moving around a lot and it's going to be too much for you. The other thing I want to show you is under effects, there's all sorts of stuff you can do here. Generally, you don't need to do anything here. If you've got your lighting set up nicely, you're probably fine just leaving all of this on auto. If you go into more, again, this is where you've got that AI tracking where it's going to follow you. There's also gesture control. I turn this off usually because I talk with my hands and it will think that I'm turning on the AI follow tracking thing. And so I'll start turning it on and then I'll take a step and then the whole thing moves and people get seasick watching me and we don't want that. So, but these are there. I keep them off, but it's totally up to you. So there's some tips and tricks when it comes to using the Insta360, and let's get going setting up your home studio.